Hello, it's Crafty Carol from Crafty Carol's Cards here with another little video for you. And this is a card that I made for our team get-together. And I just wanted to show you a little really simple technique. Our topic for our team meeting was favourites, so favourite stash. And I thought, I've got so many favourites, I couldn't possibly choose from my favourite stamp sets and things like that. But I do have a favourite colour, which is purple. So that's why I've gone with this card. And I've got my blends in my various favourite colours as well to match it. So it's a really simple card base. You don't need too much. You need a basic white card base, which is... bit on it, 21 by 14.8, scored at 10.5, or if you're working with US cardstock, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. Then you need a piece of your favourite colour cardstock, excuse me, favourite colour cardstock, and this is Highland Heather for me, 10 centimetres by 14.3, or 4 inches by 5.25. And a piece, a layer for the front of basic white again, which is 9.5 by 13.8 or 3 3/4 by 5 inches for US cardstock. So really simple. And I'm going to show you just a really simple technique of making a very straightforward, simple stamping card. So I better show you what I'm using. I'm using the Gallery Blooms stamp set because I want this image here of my flowers, and I've also got this image to put on the inside and on the envelope. And I'm using the Just a Note from the Notes and Totes stamp set, but this card works with any sentiment for any particular thing you want to do. So you could have happy birthday or anniversary or, you know, sympathy. This card will work with all of those. So we're going to start by stamping up in Memento the sentiment. And this time it's just a note, and I'm going to have it, I think, probably about here. So we're just going to stamp that on. So that's my sentiment stamped. Now, this is the next bit, and this is the technique bit. We want to cover that while we stamp around it, because I want that to sit in a frame. You'll see what I mean in a bit. And there's several ways of doing it. You can either, well, the first thing is to measure. You need to know how big it is. So I'm going to measure that, and that's around 2 inches or 5 centimetres by 1.25, which is what, 4 centimetres. So you're going to cut a piece of paper, and you can either use a little bit of card, a little bit of paper, or you can get and buy masking paper. And this is really useful stuff. So I have a big roll of it there. So I cut off a bit of that, and it is sticky on one side. And don't worry about touching it, because you want to take some of that stickiness off. You want it to stick without sticking down, if that makes sense. So you're going to cut a piece of that. And you can see mine sitting in the sun. I don't use it that often, and it's got marks on it. It doesn't matter, it still works. So you're going to stick that straight across the sentiment. So you can just see, hopefully through my very stained piece of masking paper, the Just a Note, you can see it through there. If you have not got any masking paper, then just use ordinary copy paper, a piece of ordinary copy paper, the same size, and get yourself this. Everyone needs this anyway. This is a removable adhesive. I get it from Amazon, unfortunately, but yes, I get it from Amazon. And it is a removable adhesive. So you just put a little strip on the back of your paper. I've used it before in some of my projects, and then it all rubs off at the end. So whichever you choose, stamp your sentiment and stick that on the top. Then we are going to get, just a note, better to use, don't use card. If you use a piece of card, it's a little bit thick and you can't get the image from the stamp you're going to stamp around it to stamp right next to it. Doesn't matter too much for this technique, but it's better to use a thin piece of paper. Okay, so I am now going to stamp my stamp. And again, I'm just using Memento because we're just going to colour it with some blends. So I'm going to stamp that up, and we're going to have it sort of coming round both sides of the stamp here, the paper here. So there is my first one. You see, I'm just stamping on top of the masking paper as well, which is fine, like that. And I'll probably put a little bit more in there. What else should I put in there? I'll perhaps just use a little corner of this and put some top and bottom as well. What it might look like. Do you know what? I might leave it like that. You can surround it. It's totally up to you. I think, shall I put it? No, I'm not. I'm going to leave it and just have the two. So I'm then going to colour these, and I'm going to colour them leaving this on, and you'll see why in a minute. So I've got various things. I've just got one green. I've got Granny Apple Green in the light and green. These are all the blends. I've got Bubble Bath, I've got Highland Heather, and I've got Fresh Freesia. So again, you can use any colours you want to colour whatever image you want. This works with all sorts of images. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to use the Bubble Bath in the centre of my flower. Not worrying too much about the bit that's covered by the masking paper, but it won't matter if you colour it all, honestly. So I just want a centre of, which shall I think I'll use my lighter colour for one and my darker colour for another. So I'm going to do one of my flowers, and this is just my Fresh Freesia. Oh, my finger's bleeding again. I managed to hurt my finger, which was stupid. Doing some weeding. I was weeding on the patio and managed to scrape it on the patio, which was really stupid. And it's now bleeding. I've sort of taken the top off it. Still, we won't worry. So I'm using, I'll use the light on the middle. Well, it's fine. I don't really mind. So I'm just doing this quite quickly. Should have used the lighter on the outside really, but hey, not doing those bits because they're covered. So I'm not actually bothering colouring over all the masking paper bit, but I wanted to make sure my colour goes up to the edge without going over it. And that is why I'm just leaving my masking paper on while I do this. So let's do this the correct way around. So having the lighter colour on the outside of the leaf. Not a leaf, it's a petal. I do this all the time. I call petals leaves. I've no idea why. I think my brain doesn't always go in coordination with what I'm thinking about. So I'm just trying to do this quite quickly because you don't need to see me doing all of this, but you know, you can take your time over this colouring. You can also use Stampin' Right markers if you prefer, or you could use your watercolour pencils. Doesn't matter, this is just about adding the colour to the image that you want to have on your sheet. So I'm just making sure I've coloured all the way around the bits I want, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of highlighting here. So you can take your time a little bit more than I'm doing here, but you can get the idea. And then I'm going to do my leaves in the same way, starting with my lighter colour and then bringing in my darker colour. Oh, here's the other end of that. That's another one of my blends running out slightly. These leaves here. And these ones here. So what's everybody else's favourite colour? Do add some comments into this blog when you see it or under the video. I'd love to know. But purples are definitely mine. I just love, oh, that's not a leaf. That's actually an edge that I didn't colour in there. Right. Okay, then my darker one. Just to add a little bit of highlighting where there's shadow. So as you can see, I'm doing this really quickly, but it'll be enough for what I want to show you. There, that leaf can be nearly all in shadow. Right, so now comes the magic where we're going to just peel off the masking tape. There we go. So it's left me a shape, and now I've just realised I really should have made a mark. I might need to use my pencil here, because this is I should have probably put the image all the way around, because I need to know where the line ends here. So I'm just going to put a little pencil dot, which I can rub out in a bit, because I don't want to go too far on that, because the next stage is I'm going to get my dark colour, my favourite Highland Heather, and using my ruler I'm just going to give myself a frame. So I'm going to just use my marker to mark along here. That's why I need the mark, so I know where it finishes. I hope I'm not doing this too far down. You can actually see it. Yes, I think you're okay. And then I go around all four corners of the frame. You could do this in black if you wanted. I'm just using my Highland Heather here. So I'm using my ruler to make sure it's a nice straight line. And there we have it. I have my outline. You could do a double frame. You can do another line inside if you wanted. I might do that actually to show you what it looks like. So if I do another line, I'm going to use now my bubble bath, light bubble bath. So I'm just going to line up my ruler again and draw a line inside, so I can get a double frame. You can do an offset frame, I can't speak today, an offset frame, a shadow frame. You can just play around with this technique, but just by covering up that little bit of the sentiment, we can get a lovely effect. But there we are, I've put a double frame on that one, just with a lighter colour inside. So there we go. That is how to use masking. And you see, it's just one layer. I can add a little bit extra. What I plan to do, I can reach my wink of Stella, is I'm just going to add something to the centre of the flowers, because we do need a little bit of sparkle on here. So a little bit of this. Oh, come off. There we go. A little bit of sparkle on the flower centres. Just to add a little bit of glitz, because we need it. You could put gems on the front if you wanted as well. Totally up to you. So now it's a matter of just putting the card together. If you could just, in a single layer if you wanted, and not bother with the sort of layers of cards that I've got here, in which case do not use blends, because of course they do come through. And I do find on some of this basic white, they do often leach a little bit as well. Stampin' Right markers don't, you can't see those nearly as much. So you might want to use markers if you're using a single layer. If you're doing it direct on the front of a card, say you're doing an awful lot of thank you cards or something and you wanted to do them quickly, do it direct on the front of the cards, but use either the watercolour pencils or the Stampin' Right markers instead for the colouring. When you're using layers, of course, like this, it doesn't matter, because nobody's going to see that bit. There we go. So there is my really simple, using masking tape or temporary adhesive with a piece of copy paper, and just use that to make a lovely little flower. Lovely little note flower card. I hope you liked that, and I hope you have a go at doing it. It's great fun. I've also got other bits that I'll decorate the inside and the envelope later. But I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for joining me today, and I will see you again soon. Please join me live here on a Tuesday at 2 o'clock most weeks. Sign up for my emails so you know when I'm changing it, if husband has a physio appointment or whatever. And I also have my live craft alongs on the first Thursday of every month. So the next one is next week, week after. yeah, 2 weeks time for my next craft along. So why not sign up for my emails and you'll get all the details of the stuff you need to craft along with me. Hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.